This is Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review with your NFL Week 1 betting report. This is a video that will take place every Friday. I will be breaking down a couple of the key games from the Sunday afternoon slate, and every week we will automatically, regardless of the matchup, be looking at the Sunday night and the Monday night game. Well, for this week, we're going to be looking at not one, but two Monday night games that always take place in week 1 of the season. So let's get to it. Let's start by looking at the Oakland Raiders and the New Orleans Saints, a Sunday afternoon early kickoff at 1 Eastern time. And if the Oakland Raiders are supposed to be the better team that a lot of people think they are this season, this is a game that they should be winning and should at least have the chance to win. In this game. The New Orleans Saints, to me, defensively were just awful last season. Their secondary was absolutely shredded, gave up a ton of big yards and big plays to opposing receivers, and I think they might be in for struggles, especially early on in the campaign this year. If you watch the New Orleans starting defense in the preseason, it didn't exactly look great, and it didn't exactly convince you that they'd be ready to stop opposing offenses here in week 1 right out of the gate. I mean, that Pittsburgh Steeler offense led by Ben Roethlisberger in the week 3 walkthrough game just torched New Orleans defense throughout his appearance in that football game. Doesn't give me a ton of hope for New Orleans to be able to get stops here against Oakland. Derek Carr, the quarterback, should be improved now. Another year of experience under his belt. You know, Amari Cooper, we all know how great he is at receiver for Oakland. He has a chance to have a big day, I think, here against this Saints secondary. And Latavius Murray, a guy that a lot of people have a lot of faith in to be a solid, capable running back for this Raiders team this season. They've got the offense, and this defense should be improved. Should be getting better. Through the preseason, there was some good, some bad from the Oakland defense, but I definitely think they have playmakers there. We know Khalil Mack, a sack master for this Oakland team last year, has the chance to have a big year. Believe it or not, it's not one of my stronger opinions on the Sunday NFL card, but at anything as an underdog price, and right now Oakland is about 1.5 as an underdog here across the board, getting plus 1.5. I think Oakland's worthy of some kind of bet. I really think this is a game that they got to come out, get the victory in. I think they're better than New Orleans. You still have to respect Drew Brees and what he can do leading the Saints offense. But boy, I don't know if the best years are ahead of Drew Brees now as he continues to get a little bit older, and he's going to be asked to do a lot because I think this New Orleans defense still has a long ways to go in terms of improving. We've got Green Bay and Jacksonville, another 1 o'clock game taking place. I have some trepidation here laying 5.5, 4.5 to 5.5. It's bouncing around in that range with the Packers as a road favorite in this game. The problem is, I can't say I was overly impressed with Jacksonville in the preseason. They're number ones anyway on offense or defense. They gave up some yards. They gave up some points. Blake Bortles was a little bit inconsistent, a little bit erratic in terms of moving the football. So I'm a little bit concerned about what we're going to get from Jacksonville here in this game. That being said, Green Bay, a non-conference opponent, first game of the season, away from home, laying this many points, that's not a side I'm interested in. And I know the Packers defensively are a team that is expected to be somewhat decent this season and improved, but I'm going to have to see it before I can lay this many points with them in this game. Maybe the slightest of leans to Jacksonville catching the +5, +5.5. I know the Packers offense is going to benefit a lot from Jordy Nelson being back. As soon as he was lost for the season, that Packers receiving core was just very, very thin, didn't get the production it needed, and the offensive line at times has been a struggle for Green Bay in recent years. We'll see if they can hold up here on the road against a Jacksonville defense, which, even though they didn't look great in the preseason, they've got pieces there to be a very good defense in time. So I'm leery about laying this many points with Green Bay here in the very first game of the season. We've got to talk about the Giants taking on the Cowboys because to me, this game is very, very fascinating. You've got Dak Prescott making his first ever regular season start as a rookie here for the Dallas Cowboys. The question is, does preseason Dak show up in Week 1 here against the G-Men? Because Dak Prescott, to me, was phenomenal in the preseason, but how many of those defenses were vanilla? How many of those defenses were actually game planning to shut him down? Maybe not many. Probably not many. So being able to do it in the regular season against a division rival here, going to be a much different challenge here for Dak Prescott as he takes on the Giants. I didn't like anything I saw from the New York Giants in the preseason on either side of the football. I'm shocked shocked at how bad their offense was in the preseason. I mean, Eli Manning and that Giants offense did absolutely nothing. They couldn't move the football. They weren't sustaining drives. They weren't getting first downs. It was a brutal preseason for that Giants offense, and I can't understand it because, it's an offense that was carrying the team last year, and then they looked like they could barely get anything right to begin the season. Obviously, we know Odell Beckham Jr. for the Giants is going to get a boatload of defensive attention on a week-by-week basis, but Giants are going to have to get some other guys to step up. We'll see how healthy Victor Cruz is in that receiving core coming into the season to see if he can provide some ample support to Eli Manning in the passing game. But I've got some concerns here with the Giants, and I actually think at the pick-em price range that it's at right now, I'd have a lean to Dallas. In fact, I'll probably have some kind of bet on Dallas prior to kickoff. I'm waiting to see if maybe the Giants become a full road favorite, seeing if maybe some money will trickle in on them prior to kickoff. Even if it just stays at pick'em where it is right now, I think Dallas can still win this game. They're not going to ask Dak to do too much. They're going to run the football with Ezekiel Elliott. That's going to be the game plan. Sustain drives, milk the clock, keep their defense fresh, and be able to win a game that way. And that might be a recipe for success. And again, the Cowboys defense, a solid group, and based on what I saw from the Giants offense, this is a matchup that could be, in the preseason, this could be a matchup that's favorable to Dallas. So definitely will lean to the Cowboys and probably will have a bet on them of some kind, a smaller bet, but a bet nonetheless on Dallas before kickoff on Sunday afternoon. Detroit and Indianapolis, boy, this one, unfortunately, if you haven't bet this one on the Lions side of the equation, you're late to the party. I mean, this one was 5.5 even at one point with Detroit as an underdog, all the way down to 3. But if you see the Indianapolis injury report, you understand why. They're gutted with cluster injuries on the offensive line. They're absolutely riddled with injuries in the secondary, and that's a big-time concern for them facing Matthew Stafford in this Lions offense. I mean, that secondary, Vontae Davis not going to play, Darius Butler, Clayton Gathers, also key members of that Colts secondary, not for sure in terms of being able to suit up in this game. That could mean a big day in the passing game for Matt Stafford. That is a paper-thin, weak Indianapolis secondary that could be picked apart a little bit here by Detroit. I know Calvin Johnson, Megatron, retired. He's not there anymore, but I still think they've got some capable receivers here with this Detroit team. They're going to be looked to be more balanced, give everybody a chance to catch the football. Golden Tate, I think, has a chance to be pretty solid for this team this season. So, I would be very careful about completely writing off the Lions in terms of being able to create big plays in the passing game just because Calvin Johnson's not there. I still think there's receivers that can get the job done with Golden Tate, with Marvin Jones, who I think was a very nice pickup for the Detroit Lions. So I think this team is going to be able to score points, especially here in this matchup. The question is, can Detroit's defense make things happen against Andrew Luck? Obviously, the Colts are better at quarterback with Andrew Luck, but this offensive line was not good last season. And because of that offensive line not being good last season and got some question marks coming into this season, how effective will Luck be? That's the question mark. When he didn't get time to throw the football, he was very inaccurate with the ball. He got sacked a lot. That's how he ended up getting hurt. So I've got some question marks here with this Indianapolis team. I thought there was value with Detroit when it was +5. Even as when it went down to 4, 3.5, still a solid play with the Lions, but down to 3, you got to be a little bit careful. But there's still no price where I want to back Indianapolis here in this game. Could be a little bit of a tough go of it for them out of the gate. We might see points scored in this game too. Detroit running a little bit of up-tempo, no-huddle offense this season with Jim Bob Cooter, the offensive coordinator, wanting to put some pace into this offense. So we could see a high-scoring game and probably a lean over the total there of about 50.5, 51 in that game. Let's talk about the Sunday nighter. New England, Arizona. Arizona's laying 6 and 6.5 because New England's got just so many issues right now that can't be denied. Obviously, we know Tom Brady, the 4-game suspension, Jimmy Garoppolo having to take over at quarterback for the first 4 games. It was not very good. In the preseason, he had glimpses where he played well, but nothing consistent. So that's a concern here. First game of the season on the road against an Arizona defense that's very aggressive. That's going to throw a lot of different looks at a very young, inexperienced quarterback in terms of starting in an NFL game. So that's definitely a concern for me. The problem is, what are we going to get from Arizona's offense? Carson Palmer did not have a great preseason. He's a little older now. Can that offense be as dynamic as they were last season? They might be able to here a little bit, because you do have to worry about the Patriots' injury situation. I mean, Rob Ninkovich is a big loss along that defense for New England. Obviously, a guy that has made some big-time plays on the defensive side of the football, but definitely that tricep injury and also that 4-game suspension that he's been issued, definitely going to affect him, not eligible to play until week 5. So that's a big loss along that front. Can they get that same kind of pressure on a quarterback in Carson Palmer that can sometimes buckle and make mistakes under that pressure? That remains to be seen. Arizona probably has enough edges on both sides of the ball to win this game, but you're not going to see me betting against New England in this price range. We're talking about +6 with Bill Belichick, with extra time to prepare all summer to get a game plan ready. I'm not betting against New England in this kind of price range, not even maybe. All right, the 2 Monday night games quickly, Pittsburgh and Washington. I like both offenses. I'm not sure I love either defense. I mean, Washington's defense, definitely a unit that I think is going to struggle here against what's a very dynamic Pittsburgh offense. We know how good the receiving core is, led by Antonio Brown. Roethlisberger was tremendous during his brief stint of playing time in the preseason. He just rolled up the New Orleans defense in that Week 3 walkthrough game. I don't think they suffer a ton without Le'Veon Bell. They're going to miss him, but D'Angelo Williams has proven to be an adequate fill-in at the running back spot. They'll be fine, I think, until Le'Veon Bell gets back. And Pittsburgh's defense does have some question marks still. I mean, the Washington group of receivers is good. And they've probably made Kirk Cousins last year a better quarterback than maybe he is. But can't take anything away from Cousins. He's improving. He's kept getting better. He might have another decent year, but I don't think he'll be able to do what he did last year. But against this particular defense, it wouldn't shock me to see Washington to be able to put up some points in this game either. Definitely has shootout potential, and the total sitting at 49.5, 50 certainly indicates that. LA and San Francisco, the second game of the Monday night doubleheader. At +3, I'm interested in San Francisco if it gets that high, because you can't tell me that the Rams have the talent to be 3-point road favorites in this game, even against the 49ers, who are going to have a good defense. I really think their defense is going to be solid. Their offense looked very, very erratic in the preseason, trying to learn this up-tempo, new-look, fast-paced offense that Chip Kelly brings everywhere he goes. But I think it is going to take some time for that defense, or for that offense, rather, to gel. They're going to have to win games with defense. Betting markets seeing that, LA on offense, not exactly a team that you're going to expect to put up points in bunches, and San Francisco may take time to get this new offense to gel. That's a big reason why this total's come crashing down. It was as high as 46.5 at one point. It's all the way down to 43, even 42.5 starting to show up, and I can't argue with the move. Has a chance probably to be a lower scoring game, but at +3 is a take for me with San Francisco. If I see a +3 on the Niners prior to kickoff, I'll be in on them. And let's not forget, San Francisco was written off in the season opener last year on a Monday night at home against Minnesota, and they ended up winning that game. So, I think San Francisco at +3, I'll be interested in the 49ers side at that number. All right, let's wrap it up. Play of the week for Week 1 of the NFL. We're going to go to Tampa Bay and Atlanta. Tampa Bay shouldn't be an underdog here, to be honest. They beat Atlanta twice last year. I'm not convinced Atlanta's any better this year than they were last year, and I am pretty sure that Tampa Bay is going to be better this year than they were last year. If anyone watched the Bucs offense during the preseason, the Jameis Winston to Mike Evans combination, quarterback to receiver, looked phenomenal. They're already developing tremendous chemistry, tremendous magic in the passing game. I think that's going to really do some damage against Atlanta's defense. And let's not forget, Matt Ryan has looked old the last couple years. I still have concerns about that offensive line being able to protect him, which was a struggle for Atlanta last year, and that's usually when Matt Ryan makes some mistakes. Tampa Bay beat Atlanta twice last year, and I think they make it 3 in a row against the Falcons to open this season. Let's take Tampa Bay +2.5 as your widely available number with the Bucs. That's rotation number 453. Tampa +2.5 to win outright in Atlanta, your NFL Week 1 play of the week. All right, that'll wrap it up. That's my look at NFL Week 1 from a betting standpoint. I'm Ian Cameron for Sportsbook Review. Enjoy.
Always on the go? Bet365 has one of the top mobile platforms in today's market. Sign up today and don't let your busy life keep you out of the game.